Hi friends, so here we are, another day, another delightful dollar or pound if you're in the UK, like me. So today I felt about speaking into the theme of substances and addiction. We innately are addictive creatures. We choose things in our worlds that are ritualistic, a repetition, a compounding effect of the choices we make. And I feel, my perception, is addiction is a really misunderstood sickness of our society. There are so many ways in which we're surrounded by addiction, and to classify people who have chosen more disapproved of substances, perhaps slightly more damaging outwardly, to be the addicts, we've condemned them to a label in which actually the entire of society is involved in. And I feel it's part of human nature to be addicted to a feeling, to life itself, or we would slip away into a nothingness of non-physical. We are here to experience physical sensation, and regardless of how we choose to receive that sensation, we are nonetheless. We can be addicted to speaking in a certain way, or thinking of ourselves in a certain way, of having relationships with people who don't see our value, or of putting ourselves in places and spaces that people do see our value and delight in our idiosyncrasies. There's so many things to consider. I speak from my experience here as someone who used to drink heavily, party heavily. I smoked a lot of weed. I've tried pretty much every substance under the sun, bar the injectables. And I mean, if we consider pharmaceuticals as in that category, then, you know, I definitely adopted the mentality of mainstream medicine for a long time in my life. That was my programming. That was my initial entrance into the world. And if there's one thing I reflect on, it's the importance of connection for the healing of toxic substances. And even now I'm breaking away from the more approved of drugs of sugar and caffeine. I find myself frequently returning to comfort in these substances, which innately is the exact same premise as smoking a joint or having a drink. And as I mentioned in yesterday's video, the innateness of having social lives as almost an addiction itself. We do the same things with the same people in the same places for however many however many times in our lives. And I guess what I'm saying here is there's nothing innately wrong or judgeable about this activity. I feel it's everyone's unique responsibility to make choices for themselves that serve the highest good of themselves and of everyone in their lives. If we have a habit that is innately isolating the people who we love and love us by their sheer pain experienced in witnessing us move through such altered states of reality every day, even every week, they might not be aware of the pain that they're feeling. They might just be so used to it and have grown up in systems and environments that condition them to believe that that was acceptable behaviour, but nonetheless it still causes the heart a lot of pain. I speak from my experience here when I say it is incredibly painful to be witnessing people not realising how much they are hurting you by hurting themselves, and choosing to ignore the warning signs in your body, in your eyes, as the reflection for them. and their warning signs and their health signs, their choices. We live in an age of information and an abundance of it. It's our right, it's our responsibility to discern what information is appropriate for us and what isn't. It's not our right or responsibility to hurl insults and judgments at people energetically or physically. I think we need to take a real step back and look at ourselves as a species. I'm not naming and shaming anyone. It starts with personal responsibility. Looking at the places in our lives where we aren't living up to the word that we're giving others. And also looking at the places in our lives where we deserve more from the people around us. And consciously putting ourselves in spaces and places where we are receiving what it is we're giving and what we deserve. It doesn't matter how we get there, it doesn't matter how long we take, it doesn't matter if someone helps you along that journey, like in coaching or on YouTube, or if you get there all by yourself sat in a mountain or in a cave. Regardless of how we choose to get there, maybe psychedelics is the answer, or substances of some variety. But regardless, the responsibility is ours alone, and it is never our right to judge another being on their choice. So when I speak, in this moment and in all moments, no, I'm never directly addressing a judgment. I'm exploring what's inside of me, and I'm learning to express that, which may be perceived as judgment, but I can assure you it's not. So, as promised to myself, I will share a little more about me and my journey, about why I'm here in front of you on this lovely screen and choosing to share these kinds of strange words with the public, with people who choose to share and receive this coding and activation of my experience. We all have a uniqueness and a wisdom, and I have a devotion to never needing to prove myself or my worth. Those that get it, they get it. And they don't ever ask me to prove myself. They don't question if my energy would be able to assist them in the highest and best good for all, because they feel it, and they know it, and they're willing to pay me a lot of money to do it. Not because I'm out to get anyone or out to make money off someone else's lack or misfortune, but because I myself have experienced great misfortune through my own creation, through the creation of life circumstance, through the grand creation. And I chose to take radical responsibility for that, and now I'm allowed to help others through that process if they choose, if they resonate with who I am and what I share out in the world. I spent a really long time in my life isolated with no one around, and then I chose, after the recommendation of a dear friend, Anastasia, aligned vibration. If ever anyone needs business structuring or even just general motivation to start a business, watch this woman, Anastasia Lapik on Facebook. She is incredible, and she brought me into a world of coaching, whereas before I'd been only active on YouTube, I suppose, exploring people's lives and their stories and their treasures and their secrets that they chose to share. And through her wisdom, I found a community, multiple communities, where I was able to open up more of myself and judge for myself, discern for myself what was working, what wasn't, where do I want to gravitate towards, where do I want to put the most frequency, the most energy. And coming back into each and every one of us having this uniqueness, it is our privilege, our pleasure to explore different avenues of life to meet our needs that maybe aren't being met in the physical realm. We can change, make small changes, make big changes, take big risks, or we can understand what's going on inside and take action from that place first. My specialty is this part, the connection to the inner realms as a higher service, as a connection to a higher self. I'm a reflector in human design, a 6-2. If you are familiar with human design, you'll know that's a role model hermit. And it's definitely symbolic of my journey. I'm coming into my 6th line, coming up to the age of 30, moving through my Saturn return. And I am being challenged to share and express my gifts. It's my blessing to be able to feel and activate gifts within others. It's my honor to witness and hear those who need to be heard and give them the necessary confidence to continue on their journey. It is my truest and deepest desire for each being to feel seen, to feel loved, to feel understood, and to feel like they're not alone on this planet. So often we're surrounded by pain and we're surrounded by destruction, not just in the media, but literally in our relationships or on TV in front of us. Our mind is consuming all of this data and seeing all of these signs that just evoke so much stress in the nervous system. And I am completely committed to being a safe, as much as physically possible, space for people in my life, for clients, for community, for social media. This is where the action happens, and thus this is where I'm called to be. It won't always be the case, I know. But for now, on my journey, I'm very excited to share with you. I'm starting a new community page on Facebook, Unfolding Reflections. I'll link below. I would really appreciate if you're interested in learning about human design reflectors, which are less than 1% of the population, to check into that space, be open to conversation, ask questions, read other people's questions. It's very much in the early stages, so my invitation is one of a unique perspective as we journey together into this adventure. And I'm very excited to see what unfolds. With that being said, for those of us who are reflectors and are more aware of our design, I would love for you to send me a message. I am forming a mastermind style, delicious monthly activation with me and with a group of other powerful people, where we can utilize our own skills, our energy, our design as reflectors to empower each other and ourselves, to share our gifts and network amongst each other. I really look forward to hearing from you, and we can start an application process if it resonates. I am so excited to see what's to come, not just from us, but from myself. This is happening through me, for me, as me, and I can claim no credit or praise other than I'm listening to the call, taking the action, and making moves in a world that tells me to stop. Because I am unbreakable, I am unshakable, and I'm only just getting started. Love you so much.